If you are just joining us, we're following the boyfriend cop murder trial. If you're not familiar with this case, come on, buckle up here. Commonwealth accusing Karen Read of murdering her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, with her SUV. They're out drinking one night at the Waterfall Bar. It's a little place not far from where the body was ultimately found. This was on January 29th, 2022. The body found outside in a snowbank. Now, remember, he was also a Boston police officer. Allegedly, the defendant says she dropped O'Keefe off at 34 Fairview Road. You see it there. That's the home of Boston police officer Brian Albert. Her defense team arguing that Read is being framed in this massive police cover-up. Court not in session today. They'll be back at it on Monday. So for now, let's rewind just a little bit and show you more of the testimony of Sergeant Buchanan. This is the cross-examination. Karen Read's SUV was transported by tow truck to the Sally Port. Now, everybody knows what a Sally Port is. Yesterday, we watched some video footage of the Sally Port showing a couple of things. Witness that Trooper Proctor had talked about, they secured the defendant's vehicle, right? That's how it began. Watch.
That shows the vehicle coming into the Sally Port, and we're looking at which side of the vehicle.
So that is the driver's side of the vehicle. What that video depicts is a mirror collection. Although mirrors are accurate representation of what you're seeing, it's just inverted. So that is the driver's side of the vehicle. I do not know why it is inverted, but that's the way it was presented, collected and presented from Canton Police.
Can you see a timestamp or a time and date stamp on the bottom of that? It's in blue.
I cannot know.
Okay. As that truck sits in that Sally Port, just like this, it appears from all perspectives that what we're looking at is the passenger side of the car, and that right rear taillight is right there shining in our face, correct? From this perspective.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
From this perspective, from the perspective that the jurors are looking at,
okay.
From all indications, that would appear to be the right side of the truck, the passenger side of the truck, and that taillight that you can see is the right rear taillight from this perspective, correct?
The way it presents itself, yes.
And yesterday, during the entirety of your questioning by Mr. Lally, not once did you mention that this video is actually completely inverted, correct?
I did not know.
Mr. Lally didn't ask you if it was inverted, correct?
That's correct.
And if I hadn't gotten up here and begun questioning you, that would be left uncorrected, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
The person, when you take a look, Winter's cap, there's a classic police car in that Sally Port, correct?
There's an antique vehicle there, yes, yes.
If you take a close look at the trunk of that vehicle, see the word police?
Yes, I believe I can read that, yes.
And it's backward, correct?
It is mirrored, correct.
That's a good indication that this is an inverted video, right?
It appears that way, yes.
You see the Sally Port garage came down?
Yes.
You see a number on the garage?
I do.
Is that correct?
What is correct?
Does the number appear correct? How do you make it 4?
No, the number's in the mirror image, yes.
I just wanted to make the point. Everything in this video is completely backward, correct?
It's not backwards, it's mirrored, reversed. You can look yourself in the mirror in the morning, you still see your own face. It's not backwards.
You know, Defense Attorney Alan Jackson must have been thinking, when is the prosecutor going to mention that this is a mirror image? He never did. What a gift. So let's see what Alan Jackson now has to say about what appears to be something else in this video footage, a jump in the footage. Watch.
I want you to pay attention to what that person does as soon as the other person comes out from behind that car. So you see him moving. Stop it. Do you see that person move?
I saw movement in the frame, yes.
Right when the other person is in eyesight of the person toward the right rear, correct?
I mean, the video speaks for itself.
Yeah, it does.
No.
Objection, Your Honor.
The objection sustained. No commenting, Mr. Jackson. We've talked about that.
I'm going to ask Mr. Bates to back it up because there's one other issue I want you to pay attention to, if you can, right at this moment or right before this moment, and that is the timestamp. We can back it up in maybe 10 seconds. Right about there. don't play it yet. Instead of paying attention to the individuals, I'm going to ask you, can you see, may I approach the screen here?
Yes.
Can you see the timestamp at 5:37 and 37 seconds p.m.? Can you see that from where you're at?
No, I cannot.
Me neither. That's why I don't walk up to it. Let's play it for about 10 seconds. Pause it. Did you see another person just appear toward the rear end of the car?
There was a fog of some sorts. It did appear as if a person was actually in. There was two people back there, and two people walked away, or one person walked away.
The timestamp jumped to 5:38:01. Correct?
I cannot see the timestamp, sir.
Did it appear that there was an anomaly? There was a portion of that video that was deleted. Or it's missing. Not deleted, but just missing.
Objection.
Can you tell that? Does it appear that way to you, Sergeant?
No, Your Honor, I cannot tell what is happening with the video.
Yeah, I don't see what's going on with the video. It looks fine to me. What is it, a Temu ad? So we see Alan Jackson, the defense attorney, suggesting that this video from the Canton Police Department, the Sallyport, may have been tampered with. So he's asking the detective about a person near Karen Reed's right taillight, followed by this frame jumping. It's clear. Another thing to note is yesterday outside the courthouse, this is like a preview. Jackson told the press that the state will call Trooper Michael Proctor. We'll get into that. Let me split that one up right now and start with my guests here. Again, Bob Matos here, Catherine Lizardo. Catherine, let's start with this video montage, I'll call it, because it's certainly not one unending piece of video. What do you think about that? And this witness's inability to, I just can't tell.
Well, one thing is, did anyone from the state watch the video and see that jump? Because it seems very obvious that all of a sudden a figure just shows up, looks like a ghostly figure just shows up at the very end. So isn't anyone wondering, wait, what happened there? Is there a jump? And if they are aware of that, to investigate, wait, how, is there any break in the video, or is this a glitch during the recording? I recorded our show sometimes, and there's glitches. So it happens technically, but they have to address that up front to eliminate all of these reasonable doubt that we're and supporting the defense's theory that there might be cover-up.
Yeah, and
earlier,
for all glitches you may record, Catherine, I take full responsibility. Bob, I was waiting, as I'm sure Alan Jackson was, for the prosecution to admit, yes, it's inverted, and maybe even admit the jump cut, as Catherine suggests. But to hear none of that, if you're sitting there as a defense attorney, you're like, oh, thank you very much. Are you surprised that it wasn't, they didn't get out front of this, the prosecution?
I was stunned by it. They, like Catherine was saying, they had to have seen it. I mean, obviously, the prosecution's going through all the evidence that they're going to be turning over to the defense, and then on top of that, they're going to be reviewing it again, preparing for trial. It blows my mind that thing made it to the jury in a way that I can't understand it. I honestly can't understand what happened.
Is there a fire alarm there, Bob? Just something?
I don't think that's coming from me.
Okay. Catherine, I never would blame you, Catherine. So, okay, let me ask you, Catherine, real quick, because we know that Trooper Proctor is coming, and we know there's a lot of problems with that. There's a concurrent federal investigation underway. So if Proctor shows up, and Alan Jackson certainly has no reason to say he won't if he was told that he will testify, what do you expect in addition to a lot of, I take the fifth?
Well, it will be a very heated cross-examination, and you mentioned the federal investigation. They are not allowed to mention that here. That was one of the motions that came up during pre-trial, that investigation must not be mentioned whatsoever. So during the cross, he has to tiptoe that and make sure that does not come in as well. The prosecution has to make sure that happens. Otherwise, it might prejudice the jury if they hear there is a federal investigation relating to their investigation of this case.
Yeah, so Bob, let me ask you quickly, you know, best intentions going into this. You know that during that testimony, there's going to be some gray areas. There's going to be some slop over. This is going to become an issue, the investigation itself and what Trooper Proctor can testify to. What do you think?
Coming out of the direct of Buchanan, I really thought that Lally had set it up to not have to put Proctor on the stand. And then about midway through the first portion of the cross, because we're not done with cross-examination by Alan Jackson. I can't wait to see what's on that thumb drive on Monday. But you saw he made it. It was masterful in the way that he made it that they have to call Proctor. Proctor's always been this character that the defense has made sure to inject into this case. And they've done it in such a way that if the Commonwealth doesn't put him on the stand, it would devastate any chance that they have at getting a conviction, because all the jury's going to be wondering is who's Proctor and why didn't he testify?
And what are you hiding? Yeah, you can't billboard a guy like that and then just let him slip out the door. It's impossible, but it is a dicey subject because of that federal investigation. So I can't wait to see where that goes. But as you point out, when this case returns to court Monday, more of the cross-examination that we've been watching. So don't go anywhere. We're going to make that official pivot to Atlanta. Believe it or not, I've heard rumors, and producer Ann has confirmed that the Young Thug case is actually underway today. We're going to get into that courtroom. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.